Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta, FALCONS FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. What's the buzz around the Atlanta Falcons right now? Well, there's a lot of talk swirling around this NFL offseason, and it's not just about rookies or draft picks. No, this time the focus is on a potential blockbuster move that could reshape the Falcons' defensive front. And it's all centered around Christian Wilkins, a name that's been making waves since he suddenly found himself on the market after his shocking release from the Las Vegas Raiders yesterday. That's right, just like that. A player who was expected to be a key piece on the Raiders' defensive line is suddenly looking for a new team, and the NFL rumor mill is heating up about where he might land next. Now, the interesting thing here is that Wilkins started his NFL journey with the Miami Dolphins, where he made quite a name for himself. He was drafted to be a cornerstone of their defensive line, a disruptive force that could stuff the run and pressure quarterbacks with equal prowess. Over his time with the Dolphins, Wilkins developed a reputation as one of the best pass-rushing defensive tackles in the league. He's versatile, powerful, and technically sound, qualities that any team would love to have in their defensive front. But after a few seasons, he decided to sign a big-money deal with the Raiders last offseason, a whopping $110 million contract that clearly showed how highly he was valued. So, it was a surprise to many when, just a year into that deal, he was suddenly released. Now, you might be asking, what's next for Christian Wilkins? Well, that's where it gets even more interesting. According to NFL insider James Palmer, speaking on Bleacher Report's YouTube show, there's a strong buzz that the Atlanta Falcons could be showing interest in bringing Wilkins back east, to the NFC South. Palmer mentioned that where Wilkins ends up won't be an immediate decision. No team is rushing to sign him right away. Instead, the Falcons, along with other interested teams, will want to see him take visits, undergo physicals, and show that he's fully recovered from the injury that kept him out of action earlier this year. It's important to note that Wilkins didn't believe he needed a second procedure, but the recovery timeline for his injury, which typically takes 3 to 4 months, means he's still working back to full strength. And that's a crucial point. The Falcons, especially in this phase of their rebuild, are looking for impactful players who can step in and make a difference right away. After parting ways with longtime stalwart Grady Jarrett earlier this year in free agency, the team clearly needs someone to fill that gap in the interior of the defensive line. Rook Orhorhora was drafted to take over Jarrett's old role, and in limited snaps, he's shown flashes of potential. But let's be honest, he's still a bit unproven at this level, and the Falcons need someone with proven NFL production and the ability to impact the game immediately. That's where Wilkins could come into play. If he's healthy and able to showcase that he's back to full strength, he would be a significant upgrade. You don't sign a player like Wilkins without knowing he can produce, and he's demonstrated the ability to disrupt opposing offenses in a big way. His signing would not only bolster the run defense, but also add much-needed pass-rushing punch from the interior. Imagine him lining up alongside the Falcons' current defensive line, creating confusion for quarterbacks, collapsing pockets, and helping to set up more pressure from the edge. But here's the big question, will Wilkins be ready in time? That's the million-dollar question NFL teams are asking right now. His recovery is ongoing, and the team that signs him will want to see him take a physical, perform well in practice, and demonstrate that he's 100% back. The Falcons are undoubtedly interested, as Palmer pointed out, and with the way they're shaping up for 2024, adding a player of Wilkins' caliber could be a game-changer. Now, let's put this into perspective. The Falcons have been pretty aggressive this offseason, making moves in the draft to bolster their roster. They selected Michael Penix Jr. in the first round, showing they're serious about developing their young quarterback and building a competitive team around him. They also invested in edge rushers like Jalon Walker and James Pierce Jr., aiming to improve their pass rush from the outside. but interior defensive line has always been a spot of concern in recent years, especially after Jarrett's departure. Sure, Orhorhoro has shown potential, but he's still a bit raw, and the Falcons are looking for that veteran presence who can make an immediate impact. And that's exactly what Wilkins could bring to the table: experience, pass rushing ability, and a proven track record in the league. He's not just a run stopper, he's someone who can consistently push the pocket, collapse the interior line, and help set the tone defensively. For a team that finished 2023 with some question marks on defense, adding a player like Wilkins could help turn things around quickly. The Falcons' coaching staff, led by Raheem Morris, understands the importance of a stout defensive line, especially in a division like the NFC South, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Carolina Panthers are always looking to improve and challenge for supremacy. Now, of course, there are some hurdles. The biggest one is health. Wilkins' injury recovery timeline will be critical. If he can prove he's fully recovered by the start of training camp, he could become a key piece in their defensive puzzle. But if there are lingering issues or doubts about his readiness, the Falcons and other teams will have to weigh whether to take a risk on a player coming off injury. It's a delicate balance. Do you bring in a talented player and hope he's fully recovered, or do you wait and see if a better opportunity arises later? And thinking about the bigger picture, this move could send ripples across the NFC South. If Wilkins signs with the Falcons and performs at a high level, it could elevate their defense significantly. That, in turn, would make their offense more dangerous, with a more balanced team capable of competing deep into the playoffs. The Falcons have been building this roster with a clear vision, developing young talent, adding key veterans, and trying to strike the right balance between youth and experience. Bringing in Wilkins would be a statement move, showing that they're serious about contending again and not settling for mediocrity. So, Falcons fans, all eyes are on this situation. Wilkins' health, his visitations, and the team's decision-making process will unfold over the next few weeks. It's an exciting time because it highlights how committed this franchise is to improving and making strategic moves to get back to the top. The NFC South is always competitive, but with Wilkins potentially joining Atlanta, they could shift the balance of power in their favor, making their defense tougher, more unpredictable, and more disruptive. And remember, this is just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. The Falcons' entire roster is being shaped with an eye toward 2024 and beyond. The draft picks, the free agent signings, and the coaching staff's strategic plans all point to a team that's hungry to prove themselves again. So keep an eye on Wilkins if he signs, if he's healthy, and if he can contribute right away, it could be the move that elevates the Falcons into serious playoff contention. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Atlanta Falcons news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential signing? Do you think Wilkins can return to his Pro Bowl form after the injury? Do you believe he's the missing piece that can push this Falcons defense to the next level? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Falcons. Remember, this is a team that's always evolving, always fighting, and always looking for that edge. And I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Atlanta Falcons news. We're in this together, and I can't wait to see how this story unfolds in the coming weeks. Thanks for being part of this journey, and as always, go Falcons!